Welcome to Entertainment, a channel with a clickbait name. Whenever I'm watching a fight, I always think that these people are very brave because they are willing to put their health and sometimes their lives on the line to win the fight. They also fight in front of thousands of people, and that requires a lot of courage. But there are times when the best fighters have to quit in the middle of the fight, either because they got hurt or because they don't think there's a way that they can win. But every time this happens, these fighters are known as cowards or quitters, and the criticisms can be enormous. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe. Also turn on notifications, and please let me know in the comments if you ever lost respect for a fighter for something they did, either because they quit in a fight or they made a giant mistake like Mike Tyson when he bit Holyfield's ear. Let's start the list with the event that inspired this list, and that is the recent fight where Chavez Jr. quit against Daniel Jacobs. And just so you know, this is the second time he has quit in a fight, because he also quit when he fought against Andres Fonda in 2015. In this fight, there was a lot of controversy before the fight even started, because Chavez didn't reach the weight and he refused a drug test. Chavez was much heavier than Jacobs in this fight, and although he had landed some good shots, he quit after the 5th round, after his nose was broken. We also saw his father's frustration when he quit, but then later went on to defend him, saying that it is very difficult to fight when you are fractured. The good thing is that Erik Morales came out saying that it is possible to fight with a fractured nose or fractured hand or anything, and that Chavez needs to endure the hits and criticism.
He had his sharpest in this fight, being knocked out Erik Bravo, an unheralded fighter in the first round back in August.
Doubling! Doubling!
Oh, there's a hard right hand from Chavez.
Grab him! Grab him!
Just clawed at him, and then he looks at his own arm. And now he unleashes. This is over. Exactly.
This has to be one of the strangest fights in the entire history of boxing, when Oliver McCall fought against Lennox Lewis for the second time to try to regain his heavyweight title. McCall had a nervous breakdown and even began to cry during the fight. After the 3rd round, McCall did not even want to return to his corner and began to walk around the ring, and did the same thing after the 4th round. Throughout this fight, McCall just landed 26 punches, while Lewis controlled the fight. In the 4th and 5th round, McCall did not even throw a punch, just walked away from Lewis and even turned his back. When Lewis caught up to him, he just raised his hands and tried to avoid the punches. His mental state was not right, and after not throwing punches and turning his back in the 5th round, the referee stopped the fight because it was clear that he didn't want to continue. He later said that this was actually his strategy, but it seems to me that it is just a way to protect his reputation. And they even put him in a psychiatric ward to improve his mental health after the fight.
Well, not surprisingly, the heavy rollers and going over.
Tears, I mean, look at his face. It's as though he's disappointed himself.
He is, look.
Come on, take what? Come on. Huh? You don't want to fight? Yeah, you want to fight.
Good concentration, just...
Another look at Jim's scorecard in the middle of this. Well, it's pretty
the punches come on there, but Lewis, don't run into anything. No, this is who's going to stop it. Stop the fight.
I wonder if we can...
In 2018, Curtis Harper was ready to fight Efe Ahagba, who came from knocking out 5 of his previous opponents. Curtis Harper had a record of 13 fights and 6 losses, so he is just a step for the most talented fighters to gain experience and continue advancing in their career. But when they were about to start the fight, after receiving the referee's instruction and touching their gloves, and after the bell rang to start the fight, Curtis Harper just jumps over the ropes and leaves the ring and walks to his dressing room. Basically, he quit and didn't fight for a single second. Many said that it was because he was afraid of Ahagba after seeing him, but Harper did come out and say that that was not the case. Well, what happened according to him is that he never received a copy of the contract, but many have come out to say that this is not possible because the commission would not allow the fight to go this far without signed contracts. Regardless of this, he is known as a quitter now.
2 opponents in quick fashion, and Curtis Harper has walked out of the ring.
Wait, what?
I cannot believe
I've
this.
never seen this before.
He walked out of the ring.
He's not fighting this
He
guy.
walked out of the ring.
Vitali Klitchko was a great heavyweight champion who, along with his brother Vladimir Klitchko, dominated the division for many years. But in the year 2000, Vitali faced Chris Bird for the championship. Vitali was winning the fight comfortably, with all the judges giving him a minimum of 7 rounds. But Vitali never left the corner after the 9th round because he quit. Vitali later explained that he had hurt his left shoulder, which was something that had bothered him in the past. He tried to keep fighting and he did so for 6 rounds, but when he reached his corner after the 9th round, he told his coach that it hurt a lot and he could not continue. Vitali took a big blow to his reputation after this fight, and it hurt more after commentator Larry Merchant said he didn't have the mentality of a champion. Although this turned out not to be true because he won the title again in 2004 and did not lose it until he retired in 2012.
Well, he's in the laboratory right now to prove it one way or the other.
27 previous and never be found by a significant bump.
Right hand followed by a counter left hand by Bird.
Okay, it's over. We are giving up. It hurts too much.
Told us. I can't believe what I've just seen.
Vitali Klitchko.
Victor Ortiz was a boxer in 2009 who seemed to have a great future. He had a style that entertained people, had a very emotional history, and was very handsome. So many said that it was a second coming of Oscar de la Hoya. But as we all see later, he also seems to be a boxer who quits just like De La Hoya did. When he fought Maidana in 2009, they had a very entertaining fight because the two were on the canvas on the first round, and then Ortiz was able to knock Maidana down twice in the second round. But Maidana is a different type of fighter because he doesn't know how to back down, so he kept on fighting until he knocked Ortiz down in the 6th round. Ortiz was taking a beating and had his left eye almost closed up and had a cut over his right eye. When the referee tried to encourage him to continue the fight, he just shook his head saying he didn't want to. And everyone criticized Ortiz for quitting, until he was able to erase that reputation with an excellent fight against Andre Berto in 2012. Now we start a list of great fighters who quit against Pacquiao. Lucas Matthysse is an Argentinian who is known for his impressive power. He has an extremely powerful punch, but when he faced Manny Pacquiao, that didn't help him at all because he couldn't reach the faster fighter, who turned out to be the stronger fighter too, because Pacquiao was able to knock down Matthysse 3 times during the fight. And after the 3rd knockdown in the 7th round, Matthysse spit out his mouthpiece, and this told the referee that he had quit. After the immense criticism he received from his Argentine compatriots, he went out and said that he had not quit, that he did everything he could to win the fight, but that things didn't work out. But everybody thought that he could continue fighting because it wasn't clear that he was hurt. They just saw that he did not want to continue. And the explanation he gave doesn't mean that he was hurt, just that he did not want to continue because he could not beat Pacquiao, which kind of means he quit.
To work and does so with a combination, and there's that. Of what he's always shown us, and has scored 2 knockdowns.
I want to see it. I want to see that if I can.
Uppercut again, and he puts him down again. Pacquiao floors him a 3rd time.
Nobody in this world can say that Erik Morales is not a great fighter or that he is a coward. He has had great battles with Barrera, Manny Pacquiao, and many other boxers, but in his 3rd fight against Pacquiao, he unfortunately quit. In the first fight, they gave Morales the victory when he was able to box very well against a very aggressive Pacquiao. And in the 2nd fight, Pacquiao was able to defeat Morales by knockout in the 10th round. In the 3rd and final fight, Pacquiao was able to knock Morales down 3 times in a fight that only lasted 3 rounds. After the 3rd fall, Morales just looked to his corner and shook his head, telling his coach and father that he could no longer continue, so he just stopped and didn't stand up and ended the fight sitting on the canvas. Morales said after the fight that this was the first time he felt the blows like never before, and that Pacquiao was way too fast and powerful for him.
Compared to Morales, even though Morales is landing, he seems to be still uncoordinated as compared to.
Down goes. Then walk over hot cold.
The right hook, punched it.
Hard right hand, stunned Morales. Pacquiao's all over him. Thinks he's got a chance. Morales slightly staggered after that last left hand. And the brave heart of Morales. Third knockdown of the fight by Pacquiao against Morales.
He doesn't want to get up.
Morales shakes his head as if to say, I want no more.
Another great fighter who quit against Manny Pacquiao was Oscar de la Hoya, who earned the reputation for retreating because when he fought Mosley in Trinidad, he lost 3 times because he fought less intensely in the final rounds. But in this fight he had against Manny Pacquiao, de la Hoya did not back down. Pacquiao destroyed him and caused him to quit completely after the 8th round. His coach, Nacho Beristain, asked Oscar if he was okay in the corner and then threw in the towel before the 9th round began. The referee even gave Oscar a warning for not throwing punches, but de la Hoya simply couldn't because of the speed and the beating Pacquiao was giving him. When he tried to strike back, he could not land a single hit because Pacquiao moved very fast, but the punches that Pacquiao threw back at him landed with great frequency. This was a complete destruction of the bigger man by the smaller guy.
Sparring partner.
Some of us wonder how he's looking like the immortal Armstrong.
And Oscar is barely throwing back. All right, Larry, you envisioned this one. Could you see Pacquiao again?
Yes. One more round, or is that it? Is that it?
Right now, you're here. The corner is willing to stop the fight.
Is that it? Yeah. That's it. It's over.
If you have heard the famous "no más," that is used a lot now when a boxer quits, and this started after the great hands of stone Roberto Duran said these words against Sugar Ray Leonard. Roberto Duran was known as a great warrior who would do everything to win a fight, but this night against Leonard, he had to back down. Duran said he quit because he had celebrated for a long time after he beat Leonard in their first fight, and that he did not recover well by having to lose the weight for the rematch, and that he was experiencing stomach cramps, although he never said this to his corner. But many experts say that Leonard decided to box in the second fight and Duran could not reach him, so he decided to quit in the last seconds of the 8th round, where he said the famous words. Most say that he quit and it was because Leonard changed his style of fighting, because in the first fight he brawled against Duran, and in the rematch he boxed and frustrated Duran.
Good left to the pattern of the first fight. Duran got it. He is not doing it the right way. Just pulling in, and he does.
When two of the best fighters in modern times faced each other, everybody expected a great fight, and nobody expected for one of them to quit. Guillermo Rigondeaux and Vasyl Lomachenko met in 2017 in what was the first fight between two boxers who have won an Olympic gold medal. Lomachenko was winning that fight easily and completely dominated Rigondeaux. This was the first defeat in Rigondeaux's career, who was booed by fans after he didn't want to leave his corner after the 6th round. The corner said that Rigondeaux had broken his hand in the 2nd round and therefore did not want to continue. But those who saw the fight could see that Guillermo was very frustrated because Lomachenko was making him look very bad in front of everyone. This was the 4th boxer in a row that quit against Lomachenko, and that's why he said he should be called Nomaschenko. And I think he's absolutely right.
Final minute of round 4, goes back to the uppercut, then switches it up with the left hand as well.
But there's time still left, everybody. That's why I love boxing. You always have a
relationship with Anatoly Mark.
It's usually a failed experiment to create
that transition to the pro ranks. Guy comes in, put a notch in the belt, and now he's dealing with it perfect. A hero to countrymen. And then Fidel Castro called. They're looking at the tape. That's it. He is saying, I don't want any more.
There are many boxers who deserve strong criticism because they have a history of quitting, like Chavez Jr., but others have shown that they are real warriors and only had a bad night, and that can happen to anyone, even the best in history, as we have seen in this list. We have to learn the reason why they quit the fight before criticizing. But Chavez got what he deserved with all the things thrown at him when he was trying to leave the ring. But I don't understand why they threw things at Jacobs. It wasn't his fault that Chavez is a shame for Mexico. Thanks for watching this video. See you next time.